أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Jazakumullah to you all for arriving early, and especially those who've been waiting patiently onto the class. So can I have a student for dua, the opening dua, please?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm going to invite G3595.
G3595, Assalamu alaikum. G3595, Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, I'll call G3623.
G3623, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, alhamdulillah. Would you like to start reciting with ta'awuz and tasmiyah, and then we recite the dua?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري.
Okay, so should we go through it together as well? You've read it, okay, but we can go through it again together as well. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri.
Amri.
Okay, and the translation?
Lord, expand my mind and make my task easy for me.
Jazakallah. Jazakallah. G3623. Jazakallah. Okay. Okay, one moment. Let me just check. Right, okay. So today's lesson is lesson number 42, and the date today is 18th of July, 2022. So we'll be introducing verses 76 to 79 of Surah Ar-Rahman, and this completes our surah. So alhamdulillah, so we'll be introducing the last part of our surah, and this week, as you know, is the last week of our class, and by Wednesday you'll be doing your last class. So do make sure to do your revision and your homework as we suggest you do, and hopefully most of you will have completed the revision of the hifz of this surah by the end of our course, inshallah. Okay, so just quickly going through the class etiquette. So make sure you have the correct, make sure you have done ablution, which is wudu. You have clean clothes, your head is covered, and you're in a quiet place. You have parental supervision, and you have the correct ID. And most of you are well aware of these class etiquettes, so I'm sure you will adhere and abide by them. So, okay, so on to the lesson itself. So starting with ta'awuz and tasmiyah, I'm going to introduce the lesson, the verses 76 to 79. I'll recite them first, and I'll have the student to do the translation. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على رفرف خضر وعبقري حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام. Okay, so those were verses 76 to 79 of Surah Ar-Rahman. Can I have a student to read the translation for me, please?
Assalamu alaikum. I think I can't hear you properly. I don't know if the student can hear you.
Right, okay. I wasn't aware. I was not aware. If you just wait. see if I can. Can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
Right, okay. I don't actually know.
Yeah, now it's better now.
Is it okay?
Better.
Should I read that again? I don't know if you heard me reciting the verses. Should I read it again?
Okay, because I just couldn't hear you.
Okay,
So.
I'll go through it again because I
Okay.
think that would be a good thing. So,
Okay.
okay, so I'll just quickly recite it again, and then we can have the student to recite this one.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Jazakallah for that. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على رفرف خضر وأبقري حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام. Okay, so again, those were verses 76 to 79 of Surah Ar-Rahman. And that brings us to the conclusion of 3 and the conclusion of the Surah. So can we have a student to recite the translation for us?
Okay, I'm going to call G3588.
G3588. Assalamu alaikum. G3588.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. I'm just going to quickly check. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
wonderful. Okay, so would you like to recite the translation for me?
In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful, which then of the favors of your Lord will you two deny? Reclining on green cushions and beautiful carpets, which then of the favors of your Lord will you two deny? Blessed is the name of thy Lord, Master of glory and honor.
Jazakallah G3588. That was really beautifully read. Very well done for that. So Jazakallah. Okay, and on to the class. So if we can choose some students for the recitation of the new verses. Can I have a student for that, please?
Yes, next one is going to be G3504.
G3504. Assalamu alaikum. G3504. Okay, can we have another student?
Okay. G3567.
G3567. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, wonderful. So would you like to recite the verses that I've just recited to you? And you can recite them to me and go ahead. If you want to start from here.
Well, where should I recite from?
So if you start from Da'uz, I can just help you here and then I'll take you to the lesson in a second.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
So we're reciting from here. Fabi Ayhi.
فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ.
Okay, so what we can do is I can read and you can recite after me. How's that? Yeah? Sometimes when we're reading something new, it can be a bit challenging. So I'll recite and you can recite after me. G3567, you still there?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so muttaqiina.
رفرف الهدن وأبقري النسام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام.
Okay, Jazakallah, G3567. I could just barely hear you. I don't know what happened there. But okay, I'm just going to correct that one mistake that everybody makes, and it would be this. So the elongation of this mud here is quite long. So while we're remembering and while we're learning something, especially while we're small, the way that we learn now is what we're going to learn for our future selves too. So it's better to get it right now. You just need to elongate it very quite a bit more than you already did. So do you want to quickly read this verse again? فَبِأَيِّ
آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Okay, that was really well read. Do you want to read this verse as well? Because I couldn't hear you while you recited this one.
متكئين على رفرف الهدن وأبقري النسام.
Okay, can you read this for me again? This bit here.
رفرف الهدن.
Okay, so again, just over here, if you could tell me what you're reciting here, can you just read that by itself? Ra, after this ra.
رفرف fin.
Okay, fin. Okay, so this is a clear pronunciation. Okay, because this is a letter of haruf halaki, and you'll be reading it with clear noon sound. So raf, rafin.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Jazakallah G3567. Jazakallah. Just make those corrections, and that should be fine, inshallah.
Assalamualaikum.
Yes.
1 minute, please give me. आपने जो recording इसको कहा था कि तिलावत और नज़म की, तो हमने सैटरडे को भेज दी थी इस बच्चे की.
जी, तो वो अभी उसकी अनाउंसमेंट मैं अभी करूंगी. हमने ना अभी इस क्लास के एंड पे मैं आपको फुल उसकी डिटेल्स दूंगी, ठीक है? और अभी आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं अभी आगे और ना, तो वो मैं आपको अभी
दोबारा मैंने भेज दी जब आपकी मैसेज आया ना, मैंने
जी जी, और आपकी रिकॉर्डिंग्स हमें मिल गई हुई हैं.
अच्छा, चले फिर
जज़ाकल्लाह. Can I have another student, please?
G3544.
G3544. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you? Oops, sorry. How are you? Can you hear me? G3544?
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to start with Ta'uz?
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
1 minute, I'm really sorry. Go ahead. Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على رفرف خضر وعبقري حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام.
Okay, Jazakallah, that was good reading, but okay, so there's a few points here, just one thing especially. So how long, do you know how long we recite this for? This mud over here, this mud kabri, do you know how long it's recited for?
Is it 4 to 5 seconds?
Okay, so if you saw a shorter one, how long would the shorter one be for then?
Oh, it's 5 to 6 seconds.
Correct, so 5 to 7 seconds. So are you doing it for that long, do you think?
No.
Okay, do you want to read just this verse and see if you can elongate it for the correct amount of time? Go ahead.
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Okay, so even now, this isn't long enough. When you're reciting these letters, which are, how long are they for?
Um, 3 to 4.
This one here is only a normal extra elongation, so you'd only have 2 seconds. Over here, this is also 2 seconds. This one too, and this one too, and you're reciting them all correctly. But when you're reciting this one, it is shorter than those as well. You need to elongate for quite some time. So this is how you recite this. You can see next door to it, just right next to it, there's an alif with a inverted fatha, a vertical fatha, and that will be recited for 2 seconds. This has to be longer than that. So this is how we recite this. Allah.
Allah.
Okay, that's really long. Yeah, so do you see? Okay, that's the correction I'd like to make there. Over here, how do you pronounce this letter here, this one?
Ik.
Yeah, and so what's happening while you're reciting, because you understand that when a qaf comes along, you have to pronounce it from the throat, and it has to be quite a strong sound. You're getting the qaf and the kaf mixed up. And if we do that, so what happens is that the word changes and the meaning of the Quran changes as well. So in this case, be really careful while you're reciting this. It's ikram, not iq. Yeah? Do you want to read from here quickly? Wal.
Wal ikram.
Okay, and just remember not to move that while you're reciting. It's not ik, it's ikram.
Okay.
Yeah, well done. Okay, that was really good reading though. Okay, well done, Jazakallah. Okay, I'm going to go on to the lesson now. We won't be having any more students because we have other things, the announcements to make later on. So I would like the teacher for the breakout room, if you could arrange those breakout rooms now. So today what's going to happen is that there will be some breakout rooms today, and some of you will be staying with me and some of you will be going to the breakout room. And if you're asked to join the breakout room, please join it, and you'll be given a turn and a chance to read, and you need to recite in those breakout rooms. So please do join, it's really important. So once you get that message, click on the join and hopefully you'll be able to join your breakout room. Some of you can read with me and some of you can read with the other teacher, inshallah. Okay, so one moment. I hope you can all hear me well. I'm not sure if you can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Jazakallah. So, okay, breakout room teacher, have you arranged the breakout rooms? Okay, I'm sure she has. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get on with the lesson, and I'm going to ask the next student to come to the mic. So if we could go on to the Hifz practice of our part of our class. So could we have a student for the Hifz practice?
Yes, I'm going to call G3521.
G3521. Assalamu alaikum. G3521, can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Just wait a second. I think something happened to teacher's connection. Assalamu alaikum, students. We're just waiting for 1 minute. I think the teacher is doing, her connection is gone, so she's trying to come back. Can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa
I'm
rahmatullah.
very sorry about that. I lost connection for a moment there. I'm really sorry. Okay, so Jazakallah, can we have the student back as well? G3521. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, so G3521, would you like to start your hifz? And as far as I'm aware, you've done up to 70, verse 76.
76.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. And if you'd like to start, recite
Okay, but what verse should I start from?
from verse 76, I can prompt you and I can tell you what it starts with. So it starts with Fabi Ayyi Ala, and then just the ones that we recited today. Muttaki'ina ala rafrafin.
Okay. A'udhu billahi min.
वो बाय हार्ट पढ़नी है आपने आपको तो आती नहीं है
It's yeah.
by heart पढ़नी है
Gigi, we're requesting that they do recite it by heart. And it's okay.
मुत्तकीना उसको नहीं आती अभी
Acha, theek hai, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. We can have another student. That's fine. Jazakallah. Can we have another student to the mic, please?
G3572.
G3572. Assalamu alaikum. G3572. Assalamu alaikum. No. Can we have another student? Is that G3572?
Yeah, I can't unmute that student. So are we going to call G3523?
G3523. Assalamu alaikum. We're not having much luck with students.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam rahmatullah. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. So you'll be reciting from verse 77, is that correct? What? Yeah? Muttaki'ina. Is that correct?
Yes, but I don't know it.
Okay, so you have learned up to 76. So one moment. Okay, in that case, we're going to listen to another student. So Jazakallah, G3523. Can I have another student, please?
G3562.
G3562. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so you'll be reciting from 59, is that correct? Ka'annahunna yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and recite from there and I'll listen to you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كأنهن الياقوت والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ومن دونهما جنتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مدهامتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فيهما
عينان نضاختان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما فاكهة ونخل ورمان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
فيهن
فيهن
خيرات
خيرات الطرف
حسان.
خيرات حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. That's all I know up to.
Okay, that's verse 72. So jazakallah for that. Okay, so well done for that. Just a few corrections to be made, and I'm going to quickly go to my other screen. One moment. Okay, so while you're reciting, it's important to remember that when the elongations and the recitation has to be correct. And how are you learning? Are you reciting it yourself and then going over it? Is that what you're doing?
Al-Islam.
Islam, okay, brilliant. That's really good because that's a really good way to learn. Just one thing, so when you were reciting some of the letters, what happens is that we just get used to certain ways of things, and sometimes we just make certain mistakes. And when you were reciting, my mouse isn't working. Okay, so on verse 59 is where you started. Let me just quickly go back to verse 59. Okay, so over here, this, can you read this whole section for me quickly? All of this verse. Sorry, if you could start from here. كأن
كأنهن الياقوت والمرجان.
Okay, so you read this as ya akutu. Okay, so this, could you, how are you reading this? Read it again.
كأنهن الياقوت والمرجان.
Okay, so it's just not long enough. It sounds like ya akutu. Okay, so these things are quite important. You need to do the correct elongation at the correct place. Over here, when you read this lam last time, when you were reciting it to me with your hifz, it was read as wala, and these things are important. In this case, it's wal marjan. Yeah, so you just have to remember. You just have to check using the online recitation whether you're reciting it correctly or not as well. So how to do it is you listen to the Qari sub and then recite it yourself as well. But then while you're reciting it, you need to also check it as you go. Maybe afterwards you can check it, get somebody else to check you. That's the best way to do it as well. If somebody else could keep an eye on you while you're reciting, that way you won't be making little mistakes. Okay. So in another place, when you came to this elongation here, this elongation was not long enough. Let me just find it for you here. This one here. Can you recite that for me 1 second? From here. هل
الجزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان.
Okay, this here, this letter here, what's that letter there? This one here.
إحسان.
Yeah, and just now you read it as insan. So what's happening is you're just memorizing a certain way and you're reciting it that way as well. So you just need to make sure that somebody corrects you. While you're listening, it's good to learn. Make sure somebody's standing with you, maybe a parent, and they're checking while you're reciting as well, okay? This elongation here needs to be very long because it's the longest elongation that there is in the Holy Quran. And you need to recite it for as long as it needs to be recited, 5 to 7 seconds, okay? And that's the case with all of them. And again, so the same issue occurred here. This one here is a bit tricky because you have to join the elongation. You have to join the mim mushaddad onto the elongation. Do you want to read this verse for me? This whole verse? Okay, so first you have to elongate this for enough time, and then you have to join the meme, and you also have to hold it for a second or so longer than usual because it's a nunation, and you can only do the nunation if you hold on to it. Let me read it to you. Mudhamatan. So it's rather than mudham, it's mudham. So you have to give the meme some time. There are 2 memes underneath this shadda, and you have to give the first one some time for it to go into a nasalized sound. Do you want to try that once? Okay, I think you faded out, which often happens on Zoom, but I'm sure you read it as I read it. So just make sure to make those changes, okay? So Jazakallah, Jazakallah G3 562. Can I have another student, please?
Next one is going to be G3572.
G3572. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
I can't unmute that student. Okay. G3504.
G3504. Assalamu alaikum.
I don't think he said that anymore. G3509. Yeah. G3509.
G3509. Assalamu alaikum. G3509.
I can't unmute again.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, so is that G3509?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So would you like to start reciting? And you'll be reciting from verse 25 onwards, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you like to start reciting with A'udh?
Yeah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
One moment, 1 second. G3509. You know, verse 25 starts off with Walahul Jawadil. Walahul Jawadil. Walahul Jawadil. Do you know that verse? Walahul Jawadil Munsha'atu fil Bahri.
Which verse was it?
Sorry?
Which verse was it?
It's verse 25. Walahul Jawaril.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Walahul Jawaril Munsha'atu fil Bahri Kal'alam. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان. That's all I know.
Okay, so that was verse 31. One moment, let me just write that down. So 25 to 31. Okay, Jazakallah for that. That was good memorization. Okay, so while you're reciting, there's only a couple of things that I really want to bring to your attention. So if you look at verse 30, if you go back to, okay, let's go back to verse 25 quickly first. Okay, so, oops, sorry, one moment. That's not right. Okay, so over here on verse 25, وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام. This noon sakin here, do you know the rules for this noon sakin?
That you have to prolong it for a bit.
Yes, and also what happens, what do you have to look at that's important about a noon sakin or a munawwan or tanween letter? So what follows it, what letter follows it is really important. And in this case, this sheen indicates that this noon has to be done with an ikhfa sound. And an ikhfa sound is a slight hidden noon. Rather than saying munsha, which is very clear noon, mun, we say musha.
Musha.
Okay, so that rule is really important. And while you're reciting, I hope you're listening online as well, because you'll see the difference between a clear noon and a hidden noon, which is an ikhfa. So remember this rule. It's really important to understand that rule and make sure to make that correction in all of your recitation, because you wherever you recited it, you were not able to do the ikhfa even over here. So in this case, we will read this as man fis samawati rather than man fis samawati. So we give it 2 seconds and we make it into a hidden noon. Mosha man fis samawati, not man fis samawati. So if you can understand that, that's only 1 second, man. But to do an ikhfa, we're doing it as man fis samawati. So I gave it an extra second and it's hidden as well, okay? Just remember that rule is quite important. Okay, over here, if you can see this letter, this word here, do you know how to pronounce that? Because that's quite tricky. When you come to a stop, and do you know what happens to this noon when we come to a stop?
No.
Okay, this one also carries a sukoon, which is this. And when you come across 2 sukoons, what happens? Only the sound of the letter remains and you have to join them together. So it's quite tricky. You said shan to this, so it's actually read as shatn. Yeah, shatn. You just join the sounds together, not the vowel over here. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so could you read that for me? 1 second. If I go back and I want you to read the verse, the whole verse, if you could try that for me. So start from here. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, okay. يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم
Yeah. قل يوم
هو في شأن.
Good. Well done. That was really good reading and a really good correction. So you understand the concept. And so remember not to read this as shan, it's shatn. Okay?
Okay.
Jazakallah. Other than that, it was very good. So Jazakallah for that. G3509. Jazakallah.
Can my sister read?
Yes. Can you tell me her ID?
G3511.
G3511. 1 moment. Okay, G3511. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. Am I correct? You will be reading from verse 16. Is that correct? Yeah? Verse 16 onwards. So will you be reading from وَخَلَقَ الْجَنَّ. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so start with those.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
وخلق
الجنة من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان
فبأي
آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Do you know some more? يسأله
يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو وفي شأن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. That's all I know.
Okay, mashallah, well done. That was really, really well read. So you read up to verse 31 like your brother. Okay, that was really good reading. Just a couple of corrections I'd like to make. So let's go back on to that. So, okay, so over here in verse 30, as you're reciting, so again, the same mistake you made as your brother, which was this one here. Do you know this rule of the Noon Sakin that I just explained?
You have to prolong it for a bit more than the others.
Okay, brilliant. So what you have to do what matters with the Noon Sakin is what comes after it. In this case, this is a ikhfa. When we recite this, we read it as man fis samawati. So rather than man fis samawati, it's man fis samawati. Yeah? Okay, so just be mindful of that while you're reciting. Just make sure, and when you're checking online, make sure that while the Qari Sahib is reciting, you are looking at this text here, the text of the Holy Qur'an, and as you're looking, you'll understand where the Noon Sakin appears and what appears after it, and you'll learn it as you go, okay? Yeah. Okay, so also, oops, sorry. So one more thing was, can you read this verse for me, all of it?
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Okay, mashallah, that was really well read. Could you prolong this for a little longer? If you could make this la just a little bit longer. Try that again.
Yes. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
Okay, so that's really long. And if you go online and listen to the Qari Sahib, you'll see him reciting for quite long as well, okay? Just remember that. But other than that, mashallah, your recitation is very, very good. So, Jazakallah, G3 511.
Jazakallah.
Okay, Jazakallah. Can I have another student, please?
Yes, next one is going to be G3 554.
G3 554. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah, and you?
Alhamdulillah. So do you want to start? So let me just quickly check where you're reciting from. You are reciting from...
He's going to recite it from after verse 33.
Oh, sorry, verse 33. Oh, yes. Okay, so verse 34 onwards, yeah? Okay. So you'll be reciting from Ya Ma'ashar, sorry, Ya Ma'ashar al-Jinni, yeah?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ma'ashar al-jinni wal insi in istata'tum an tanfudu aqtar as-samawati wal ard fanfuzu la tanfuzu
La tanfuzuna
bisultan
illa bisultan. Okay.
بأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
Yursalu
يرسل عليكما شواظ
shuwadhum min narin
شواذ من نار
نحاس فلا تنتصران Okay, do you know any more? And the next verse is فبأي آلاء تكذبان. Okay, and do you know any more? فإذا انشقت السماء. Okay, so that's verse 37. So well done for reciting up to that. One moment. Okay, so I just want to quickly tell you just one correction. Sorry, I've lost my sheet for a moment. Yeah, so okay, just again the same mistake. If you could elongate this correctly, it just has to be quite long. So it's often longer than we expect it to be. So do you want to read this verse once with me, Fabi?
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
That was much better. Well done. That's perfect. Well done. Excellent. Okay, so that's the main correction. Go over those verses again and learn them again as well. And while you're learning, do listen to it online as well. It's really useful to have that. So, okay, Jazakallah. Jazakallah G3 554.
Jazakallah.
Okay, so I think we can squeeze in one more student.
Okay,
So.
I'm going to call G3567.
G3567. Assalamu alaikum. G3567. Wa alaikum assalam. As far as I'm aware, G3567, you've completed the surah. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Jazakallah. And can we have another student in that case?
Okay, we can have G3562.
G3562. Assalamu alaikum. G3562. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. You choose one student. Hello. Can you hear me?
I've already read.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Okay.
I
So
can call G3661.
G3661. Assalamu alaikum. G3661. Assalamu alaikum. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Would you like to recite how much you've learned? So would you like to recite from verse 10 onwards?
I just started it.
Oh, did you? One second, one moment. You've just started it. So you've already recited up to verse 9. Do you know any more after that from verse 10 onwards?
No.
All right, that's fine. Not to worry. Please do continue learning, and because if you do, you'll be able to learn some of it at least. So okay, Jazakallah. Okay, so that brings us to the conclusion of today's class. I don't know if the students from the breakout room have been put back into this class. I hope they have, and what I'm going to do.
See at the moment.
Okay, 1 second. So it's all okay. So the students will be back in in a couple of seconds. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to go down and I'm going to introduce. One moment. Let's just wait for them to come back. So I'm just going to, on your screens, you can see on Friday, the concluding session details were given out to all students. And that's what you can see on screen. So just quickly have a look through that again. And while we're waiting for the students to come back, and once they've come back, then I'll go ahead with the reminder for how you can go about doing this. So just one moment. If you just have a look on screen, what the details are. So you can see the concluding session is on the 21st at 6 p.m. and the 21st is Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And there will be tilawat, and then the translation, then hadith, and then the saying of the Prophet Messiah Islam, then there'll be a nazm, and then there'll be feedback from students and parents. Okay, I think all of our students are back now. And as I just said, I'll just quickly repeat that. Last week on Friday, the concluding session was, you were told about the concluding session in which you can take part, and there are various things that you can take part in. So tilawat is one of them, translation of tilawat verses Al-Hijr verses 7 to 10. Hadith is the significance of hifz and the saying of the Promised Messiah Islam, our teaching. The nazm is Noor Furqan, or any nazm about the Quran, and then there will be feedback from students and parents. So last session you were given the details, and you can see on screen the verses that have been set. These are the verses. So Surah Al-Hijr verses 7 to 10. And again, so this hadith is the one that we'll be using. I'm just going to quickly run through them. Those are the nazms that have been suggested, and that's the sayings of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam. So we have received so many applications, which is very, very good, alhamdulillah, but we haven't received many for hadith and the sayings of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam. And we would like students today, at the very latest this evening, if you could do this. So you can see at the top of, let me quickly skip to it. You can see just here, over here, you'll see this email here. And this is where we would like for you to send us your details. And in the information bar at the top, if you could write the G3 Hifz course, and then if you could write the application for the concluding session, and if you could write which application you are making. For example, if it's hadith, if you could write hadith from there. What we would like you to do is we would like you to record your recitation and then send it to us on that email, so you can read just the English in this case for now, and you can read the sayings of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam, record them for us and have them sent to us on that email that I just showed you. And in order to do this, you can also refer back to last Friday's class to see all of these details that I'm showing you now. You can go to the class and you can pause the sections where you've been shown these, and you can then read from there, make your recording and have it sent to us. So I hope that's clear for everybody. And as I said, we are requesting that we need 4 students for the sayings of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam. So it'd be really good if some of you, even if you haven't considered it, maybe you should consider recording it and sending it in to us. And if there's a high chance you'll be given a chance to read the saying of the Promised Messiah in the concluding session on the 21st. Okay, I hope that's clear to everybody. And as I said before, we have been receiving your recordings. Also, an email was sent out to all the parents who have registered, detailing all of this. Sometimes what happens is we don't have the correct emails, or maybe there's some technical difficulties and you don't receive the email. So apologies for that if you haven't received that email, but that's the way to do it as well. So I'm just explaining to you how you can go about applying for the concluding session hadith and sayings of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam. Okay, so on to the homework quickly. So the homework for today is to memorize Surah Ar-Rahman verses 76 to 79. You should be revising Surah Ar-Rahman verses 1 to 75. And the knowledge quest for today is an easy one. So how many times is the phrase فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ repeated in Surah Ar-Rahman verses 1 to 79. Okay, so how many times has it been repeated in verses 1 to 79? That's the whole surah. Okay, can I have a student for the prayer, please?
Yes, I'm going to call G3539.
G3539. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Would you like to read the dua quickly for me?
Yes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة.
One moment. Okay, go ahead.
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Okay, Jazakumullah. So that ends our class for today, and Jazakumullah to you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.